I really love saving bean seed, for all the different types of beans I grow. And I think that might give me the most pleasure is when I see those rare bean crosses. We had a cross between like a caramel bean and a orca bean. And, it's a bean we're working on now that we're calling a painted desert. It's a really beautiful looking, each bean looks like they're hand painted. But so it'd be a toss-up between beans, which are of course such beautiful large seeds, and then I've been quite interested in carrot seed production. So I would say it's kind of equal, but the carrot is so hard to produce, the carrot seed, and it's so intensive. It takes 2 years before you get a crop, so you have to be good both years growing it. You got to watch out in our area about genetic drift from some of the wild Queen Anne's lace. So it's technically the most difficult seed I could possibly imagine to produce, and that challenge I found was quite rewarding to work through.
I've added all kinds of beans and peas now, and I really love them, particularly shelling out the dry bean pods. It is just so much fun to see what you're going to get. If I could just show how you pop them open. This is a fall and winter project, and you get these gorgeous bean seeds show up in all different colors and shapes. They're just beautiful. Can you see that?
Well, out of this patch last year I saved some sunflower seeds. Huge sunflowers, giganteous. That was rather interesting because one of the heads turned out a different color than the others, so I'm going to save the seed from that and see if the seed color breeds true.
Maybe the intensity and how they are and how the plants change within the time, and in the end it becomes a seed. And for a lot of the work that I personally do, I use the seed in the medicine making. And almost always when I'm making medicine, well, a lot of the time, a lot of the medicine is used fresh. So if the plant is not in season, 10 to 1, the seed is available. And the seed contains all of the plant. So I can use the seed. As long as I have some saved aside, like if I have a hard time getting gachmi or getting burdock is really big, then I always have a lot of the seed that I can disperse somewhere where it's more easily accessible to me.
One thing I'm going to try this year as a vegetable crop is dandelion. This time of year, just before flowering, leaves on dandelion are delicious. I learned this from my grandmother. They're better than spinach or lettuce. You got more flavor here than either of those.
Since I would like to save flowers and any type of fruit. My nieces and nephews all love fruits. Instead of going to buy it, I would prefer to have some out in the yard where we could just go pick it.
The type of seeds I enjoy saving the most are quinoa seeds, because Ann Baird from EcoSense gave me a package of quinoa seeds, and I grew them out and harvested them and saved their seeds from it. The reason I like saving the quinoa seeds is because there's so many steps and it's quite easy to do. It's also really fun because this quinoa seed has been grown for year after year from a whole bunch of different farmers or seed savers, and then now that I have it, everyone has forgotten the name of it, so they were thinking of renaming it Sierra's Harvest, because I was one of the ones that I just was so interested in saving the quinoa seeds. I found it really fun.
I've been saving seeds and broadcasting them around the island for quite a few years. I started doing that a long time ago. Flowers, broadcast them to Lady Smith and places along the highways. Further beautification is very good. And so nowadays I'll go up the mountains and I'll broadcast seed up there. Whether it's some of the wild fruits that are very good up there, or some of the cultivated things that we have that are very strong on their own. I figure that one day we're going to expand into the mountain areas and other places, so might as well have the food there.
I also really like to do kale seeds. I also like to grow them. It's also another really easy one, but when the kale has grown up, you just let it get the flowers on the top, and they kind of dry in kind of like little seed pods, almost like bean pods, but a lot tinier. Once they're grown up to the right stage, you can chop that off from the ground and hang it up and let that dry out. And save the seeds from that. You just let it dry, and hopefully it's got like a bag or something underneath it. If not, it'll just grow kale everywhere. But I like doing that one too. We've been doing red Russian kale for quite a few years.
I'm really sort of proud of is when we grabbed a whole lot of different varieties of kale. And so we went and searched for as many kale varieties as we could. Some ornamental red Russian kale, we had Japanese varieties. We had about 12 initial varieties. And we grew them in a greenhouse in gallon pots. And then in the spring, after they'd grown a year, they were just starting to flower. And so in April, we'd bring them out in front of our beehives. Hundreds of these gallon pots of different varieties of kale, and the bees would come out of the beehives, find the kale, cross-pollinate it, and it was just a very sort of anarchistic way of doing our breeding. And then we'd collect all the seed from that kale and then plant it out, and we had so many different varieties of leaf shape, leaf color, different habits of the kale, how it was growing, if it was tall or short, that it became sort of a trademark. You know, we could seed a few 400-foot rows of this kale, and you just have to walk down the row picking, and you'd have a wonderful kale mix of things people had never seen before.